Like the only people that isn't learning from anything is the African, because these same people are always using the same tactics on the African, and we always fall for them. Because I don't know why we should, with all this history that we have learned in school, we are still very much in bed with the colonizer. And anytime they are coming to Africa, they always have a way of packaging themselves. Even though we are trying to push back, others are trying their best to continue to defend them. We are the only ones that are sitting here, and people are always designing, planning, calculating, dividing, subtracting, and multiplying issues concerning the African. We are always sitting down for them to use us as numbers to be adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing in anyhow that they want. According to report, the United States of America is having something called the American Plan on Africa. And in this plan, they have packaged it in a very nice way. In their plan, they are making it look as if Africa is not. You see the way when he even came, Donald Trump, during his inauguration, he never invited the African to make it look as if he doesn't have time for us. But these people need us very much. And they always try to play nice. We heard that even the Rwanda-Congo meeting with Donald Trump, he talked about how Africa is having resources. It's also in their plan as to how to build other things to make sure they keep taking the resources out. They will come in the guise of trying to be nice to us, helping us, like the Nigerian whatever that they claim that they are ISIS and they are coming to set us free from these ISIS. And at the end of the day, we heard that there was nothing. Even Sokoto that they went and bombed, nothing is happening there. They are also talking about how they are going to come in to help us. We know they've taken the aid out. So they are trying to make it look as if there's another form, which is infrastructure, like China is doing in Africa. So through that, they are coming to help us and other things. There are a lot of things that these people are planning about the African.
The United States just published its national security strategy, and in it, we got a very small snippet of what America's strategy is going forward for Africa. Now, for some quick background, the national security strategy lays America's foreign policy strategy for different parts of the globe. A lot of the document ends up always being propaganda, but we do also actually get some genuine insights on what America plans on doing across the world. Now, the part about Africa, this was actually buried at the very end. This itself is a propaganda tool because it was trying to make it seem like, the United States doesn't really care about Africa, that Africa should just be at the end of this document. But in reality, the United States cares a lot about Africa. Of course, it's always there trying to destabilize it so it can get access to its gold, oil, and rare earth minerals. And we see this in this report because this report actually very bluntly says that America's plans is to pretty much grab as much resources from Africa as it can. Let me provide two quotes from this report. First, it says, quote, that America wants to harness Africa's abundant natural resources, end quote. And a more lengthy section that says the following: immediate area for U.S. investment in Africa with prospects for a good return on investment include the energy sector and critical mineral development. Now, the section about Africa also opens with this weird part about criticizing America's spread of liberal ideology in Africa. This is a very Trumpian thing to talk about. And this is also complete nonsense because, of course, America doesn't really care about any ideological aspects in Africa other than securing as much resources as possible. Now, the report also advocates for moving away from aid towards investment, and I believe this is a response to China, which is the largest investor in Africa. Now, if this was indeed the case, that the United States was going to move away from aid to investment, I would otherwise think that's great because aid doesn't actually help Africa. What it does do is it helps to prop up neo-colonial governments. But when the United States are talking about investment, what they're really talking about is developing infrastructure to more quickly extract resources from Africa, making America rich and Africa poor. Now, finally, there is also a discussion about negotiating for peace in places like Congo and Sudan. This is also a complete lie because, of course, America, either directly or through allies like the United Arab Emirates, has destabilized these places. We also see in this report the following, which I want to quote, we must remain wary of resurgent Islamist terrorist activity in parts of Africa, end quote. So in other words, what we're seeing here is, the war on terror continuing, with, of course, America continuing to attack Muslim areas of Africa like Somalia and, of course, the Arab states. So in other words, what we're seeing here in the African policy is a continuation of extracting resources, a more blunt admission to not caring about democracy or human rights and just wanting to do this. And of course, though, the good news is that Africans are always trying to resist these efforts from the West. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. We're curious to hear from you. Thanks.
Well, the Americans have not hidden the reasons for those bases. They have made it very clear is to protect American interests in Africa. What are the American interests in Africa? The American interest in Africa is not to protect the African people. That's not an American interest. One discernible American interest in Africa is minerals. To protect their access to strategic minerals. Today, DRC holds about 70% of the world's cobalt deposits. Zambia, which is a neighbor to DRC, also has got huge deposits. Niger holds 70% of the world's uranium deposits. DRC has uranium, Zambia has uranium, Namibia has uranium. These are strategic minerals. These are what the Americans are protecting. Protecting from who? From us, the Africans, the owners of these minerals? Certainly not. They are trying to protect, to monopolize these minerals, these strategic minerals. Protect, keep away primarily China. Their talk is about China, 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 China. But China is not an enemy of Africa. We have never been colonized by China. There is no single African country that was a colony of China. Even today, China has never colonized and is not intending to colonize an African country. China has never shown any imperial interest in Africa. China was there with us. In our liberation struggles, China supported us. When the West was colonizing us, China was helping to liberate us. China was there to defend our independence, economically and otherwise. For instance, my country, Zambia, it was blockaded. All our neighboring countries were still under colonialism. We had no access to the ports from Mozambique, from South Africa, from Namibia, from Angola. But there was no proper road, there was no rail. We asked the Americans, the British, to help us put up a rail system to the port of Dar es Salaam. They refused. President Nyerere of Tanzania came on behalf of Zambia and Tanzania to ask the leadership of China under Chairman Mao, Zhou Enlai, for help to build a rail. China at that time did not have the capacity, but China said there's no way, they have to do it. They mobilized both the human capital, the materials that were needed, the finances that were needed. It was a very difficult task. China did not have that type of rail infrastructure in its own country, but the Chinese people were ready to build that for us. And in the process, China lost 70 of its own citizens, of its own people, in the construction of that layer. The remains of those 70 Chinese people still lie in Zambia. We have 70 Chinese people buried in Zambia today. We have Chinese solidarity that will never be forgotten, that will last forever. At that time, China did not have a single mine in Africa. They did not have a single corporation operating in Africa. Not a single one. So it was selfless, noble assistance to fellow brothers and sisters. China has continued even now when it's doing well to cooperate with Africa. If you go to Africa today, you see a big hospital. 99.99% probabilities that it has been built by China. If you see a big airport today that is new in Africa, it's a very high probability that it has been built by China. If you see a rail network that is new, know that it has been built by China. You see a big bridge that is new, it has been built by China. China is there for us. Yes, there are challenges here and there, and the Chinese authorities are dealing with those challenges. And in the first place, let's not forget that our own colonization was done with military, with force, brutal force. It was maintained with brutal force. It is being continued today in a new way again with the militarization of the African continent. Whenever there is resistance to their mining interests, they have not hesitated to use the military. So part of the militarization that we are seeing of the on the African continent, one is to protect their minerals and to ensure that they enjoy the exploitation of these minerals at the exclusion of China and the others who are progressive.
Who has really cursed the African? It's like the African is the one that is not ready to be free. We are rather not ready to be free. These people have succeeded in making things in a way that the African is finding it so difficult. And that is why Bob Marley said, we must emancipate ourselves. Until the African is able to emancipate him or herself, it will be very difficult. Because the same tactics that these people are using are the same ones that they keep using on us in Africa. And the African continue to be buying into it. Like they claim they are the ones who are coming to bring us peace. When we know per what the congressman said, they are funding Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and all these things. Yet at the end of the day, they come in the guise of coming to help you, the African, set you free, as if they love you. Like always I say, if they are the ones that are funding them and they don't want them to continue to be doing what they are doing, why not just cut the funding? They claim that the aid that they are giving to us is another form of oppression. They are using it to do da. So for that matter, they want to remove it. Yet they are finding other means. Like the way he's coming, pretending to be negotiating peace between Rwanda and Congo. And at the end of the day, he's talking about the resources, because these people never do anything for free. But it is the African who isn't just ready to learn anything. And we need, as Africans in this 21st century, this is information era. We are so fortunate that our time we have access to information, and we are still the ones that are sleeping the most, especially with those who claim we've been to school. Because anything at all, you are the same people who go around looking for the things that they have said to be quoting. We need to wake up as Africans. Everybody is planning about the African. It's only the African that doesn't have any plan for him or herself. We are just sitting down and other people are using us to their benefit, and we continue to believe less in ourselves. All the African is thinking about is these people coming to help us. They are the saviors of Africa. As if without them, the African can actually not do anything for him or herself. We are seeing what is happening in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They are telling us, even if we don't see it, but they always tell us what is happening. And whatever that they say, we end up seeing that these people are actually doing A or B. Yet the African will still not believe what the African is saying. We believe so much in these people, and that is what is causing the African not to progress. As Africans, it is time for us to wake up. They make us believe in their medicines, in their education, in their everything. But all these things are what is brainwashing you, the African, and you are not progressing. Whatever that they say, you, the African, you believe without questioning. But when your brother should come out with something, you are the same people who come out and be asking your brother for proof. But when these people say anything, we don't ask for proof. Like when they came out claiming that Merry Christmas to even the dead ISIS without any evidence. The African believe it. See the way we're hailing them on social media. Yet we still don't know that all these things that they are doing, they are part of their plans in order to get the resources out of Africa. Nobody loves you, the African, rather than you, the African. So it is time for us to start seeing ourselves as one people. Start seeing that we are the only ones that can set ourselves free. Start seeing ourselves to be our own God, our own Savior. Other than that, we will not move forward. And that is why sometimes when I refer to our all-in-alls, the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso as a king praising them, you are the same people who come and tell me that these are things for Jesus. Who told you so? All these are mental slavery. We need to wake up. We need to start believing in our heroes. We need to praise them. They are the gods, because right now they are the ones that are setting us free. We need to wake up. They are planning day in, day out, 24/7. They are not sleeping. But the African is busy sleeping. We are interested in things that do not have anything to do with our salvation. We love everything when we go on social media. We are interested in things that are not necessary. No wonder they are telling you that you are good at merrymaking, singing and dancing. At the end of the day, we are the same people that will come out and say they have insulted us. This is what we are doing as Africans. What is happening in the world? Things are changing, but the African is just backwards, thinking that these things that are happening are not part of me. They don't concern me. Sometimes people will even come to my page and be asking me, why will a woman be talking about Russia-Ukraine war, Venezuela and other things? Why won't I talk about them? So we follow what is happening in the world so that we can use what is happening around us to educate ourselves and to also know the steps to take as a people. But no matter what you do, the African isn't just interested. All we care about is what the politicians are telling us. But these politicians are also being regulated. They are controlled. Yet the African don't know. We believe the speeches that they give us. But speech don't change anything. We need to wake up. My brothers and sisters in Africa, the time is now. And these times that we are in, they are very dangerous. And that is why we've seen that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso all the time they are getting equipment. We are at war. Stop deceiving yourself that you are peaceful people. There is nobody that loves peace if you are not ready to fight for your own peace. Peace is not given, you fight for it. So we need to wake up, united, and fight for our total liberation. Because if you actually love peace as an African, you will fight to be free. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world and in the United States of America.